Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you what I believe is the most shocking ending we've seen to any Scrabble game yet this year. Now, we've already had lots of wild games this year, many of which I've covered on my channel, but as I think you guys will soon agree, this one takes the cake. It was an online game played recently by two strong players and both big fans of my YouTube channel, Mitch and Adam Henderson. And this is the position I want to start the video on. It's Mitch's turn in this position, and while he does have a bit of a clunky rack, including a C, a V, and a Y, he's in a commanding position because he's up by 41 points, and with all 15 tiles unseen from Mitch's perspective being one-pointers, it's going to be extremely difficult, if not completely impossible, for Adam to come back and win this game without bingoing. And the good news for Mitch is that there's really only one viable spot for Adam to bingo in this position, namely with a 7-letter word down the end column next to tinselled, making several 2-letter words. So what Mitch would really love to do is block that spot for Adam to bingo, and then it's going to be pretty much impossible, in theory, for Adam to come back. And Mitch tries to accomplish this by playing the word dry for 17 points. However, this is a critical mistake because he might have been unaware that dry, in addition to being an adjective, is also a noun, and actually takes a back S hook. And there is still one S unseen from Mitch's perspective, which could potentially be on Adam's rack. And with the other remaining tiles being all bingo-friendly one-pointers, Adam could potentially have something like salient down the O column, which would be easily enough for him to overtake Mitch and likely win the game. A much stronger option for Mitch would have been to play the word very in the same spot for 32 points, though it's admittedly pretty tough to see as it does require knowing and seeing the obscure V hook on ante to make Vaunty. Even stronger would actually be ovary, inserting the O between the P and the L to make Paul, scoring 39 points. Very and ovary both do not take S's, so they really leave Adam with no options to bingo and would more or less lock up the game for Mitch. However, that's not what happened, so let's see if Adam was able to capitalize on Mitch's mistake of playing dry. Adam, unfortunately for him, did not draw the S, and with a rack of AIILNOT, and knowing he was almost certainly going to need a bingo to win this game, he opted to open another bingo line for himself by playing the word nil from the N and tinselled for 9 points, with the idea of hopefully drawing a bingo on his next turn through that L he just opened. While it's definitely the right idea for Adam to open up another bingo line for himself, according to computer engine evaluation, nil is not his best execution. The reason is that Mitch can now simply play a word through the L on his next turn and seemingly block all of Adam's possible bingos. Even if Adam were to pull the S on his 2-tile draw after nil, at that point there wouldn't be nearly enough space left for him on the board to fit a 7-letter word with dries. And it's worth mentioning that does not take an S in the American dictionary, which these two players were playing with. So according to the computer, Adam's best winning chances here, assuming Mitch plays optimally, appear to be creating a bingo line elsewhere on the board, leaving the dries hook open, and forcing Mitch to choose which of the two lines to block. The best play, according to Quackle's championship player, is oil for 14 points underhanged, making no, gi, and L. This play allegedly wins just shy of 20% of the time. This almost certainly isn't going to work if Mitch has the S, because then Mitch would know the dries hook is not a threat for Adam as there's only one S left and Mitch would have it. So he would always choose to block the 15-row hooking no, and that would leave Adam without any places on this board to bingo, and Mitch would of course go on to win the game quite handily. However, if Adam happens to draw the S out of the bag, a play like oil could cause major problems for Mitch, because now Adam would be threatening potential bingos in two different spots, on the 15-row hooking no and on the O column hooking dries. And with both of these lines physically so far apart, it's going to be impossible for Mitch to block both of them at the same time. So Mitch would more or less have to make an educated guess and decide based on the unseen tiles which of the two bingo lines Adam is more likely to hit and block that line. So if Adam happens to draw a bingo in both spots, or a bingo in the one spot that Mitch happens to choose not to block, then he's going to win this game. All of the other top plays recommended by the engine have a similar idea of opening a bingo line elsewhere on the board. The second best option suggested by Quackle is Logia for 12 points through the G and hanged. This threatens potential 8-letter bingos, maybe even triple triples through the A, and again, if Adam draws the S, if Mitch blocks the A, then he risks Adam bingoing out on the O column with dries and winning the game. The next best option is apparently ale in the same exact spot as oil, which is a little bit worse for a couple of reasons. Number one is that the A is generally a better bingo tile than the O, so all else being equal, Adam would rather play oil, keeping his A, than ale, keeping his O. And number two is that NA, unlike no, does not take an S. NAS is not a word, So if Adam does draw the S, which like I said before, he's almost certainly going to need to have any chance after any of these plays, then he might not even be able to fit a bingo on row 15 if it ends in an S. Oi for 9 next to the Y in Thy is the fourth best option suggested by Quackle, with the idea of setting up potential bingos hooking the L onto Oi to make oil. However, this seems a bit worse than playing underhanged for a couple of reasons. Number one is that playing a bingo with oil requires the L to be specifically in the third spot of the word to fit, which isn't that easy to do. And number two is that Adam only plays 2 tiles, whereas he plays 3 tiles with oil, or even 4 after Logia, and the more tiles he plays, the more chances he has at pulling the S that he's going to desperately need. In any case, as I said before, Adam didn't make any of these plays. He played nil for 9 points from the N in Tinsel. This play seems to win about 1%, or maybe even less, according to Quackle's championship player, whereas, like we said before, options such as oil underhanged win nearly 20%. So this seems to be a pretty big mistake for Adam, squandering a significant chunk of win percentage. However, how did it work out? As I said before, the big problem with nil is that now all Mitch needs to do is play a word through that L and stop Adam from bingoing down the O column, and he should win the game. And that's exactly what Mitch does. He plays vocal for 14 points through the L, completely cutting Adam off from playing an 8-letter word in that spot. And here, guys, is the moment of truth. Adam did indeed draw the S, but again, the problem is he now can't bingo through that L and nil, and with Ez not being valid, it seems like he's got nowhere to go. Now, spoiler alert, Adam won this game. So I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds if you want to pause the video and try to figure out how on earth did Adam win. And if you're thinking maybe there's some sort of crazy endgame sequence here where Adam can stick Mitch with tiles, that's not going to happen. Mitch has very flexible tiles. As you can see, he has 2 E's, 2 L's, an N, and an O, none of which are going to be hard at all to play on this board. Instead, Adam bingoed here. And he didn't just bingo. He played one of the most incredible bingos you're ever going to see. He played a 12-letter word, extending Mitch's play of vocal to vocalization for 104 points to the bottom right triple word score. And the craziest part of this, guys, is that Adam played it in 6 seconds. You can see before he made his play that Adam's clock read 4 minutes and 15 seconds. After playing vocalization, he was down to 4 minutes and 9 seconds. That's only a 6-second difference. And remember, that 6 seconds includes the time it would have taken for Adam to put his cursor down and type this out, all the while probably super excited and in absolute disbelief at being able to make such a sick play. So with all that in mind, it's safe to assume that Adam saw this pretty much immediately after Mitch played vocal. Adam of course won the game as it was an out bingo, and he actually got 12 more points from Mitch's rack, so finished with an absolutely astounding 408 to 355 point victory. So there you have it, guys. That is what I'm calling the most shocking end to any Scrabble game yet in 2024. Definitely not the most precise play by either player leading up to the finish, but all of that was totally eclipsed by this absolutely jaw-dropping 12-letter out bingo by Adam. And what I think is the most jaw-dropping about it, like I said, is that Adam played this in no less than 6 seconds. I'd like to think I would have found this play if I were in Adam's shoes, but I certainly don't know. I've never played a 12, even an 11-letter bingo in a game before. And if I found it, I sure as heck can't imagine I would have found it and laid it down within 6 seconds. So just absolutely mind-blowing stuff. Major kudos to Adam, of course, on finding this incredible play. Definitely one for the history books. And before I close, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank both Adam as well as his opponent in this game, Mitch, for their long-time support of my channel. Both of these guys have been watching my videos and providing very entertaining and insightful comments for a very long time, so really appreciate it, and also really appreciate all of you guys' support who've watched this video and all my other videos. Can't thank you enough. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.